What a great pleasure it is to welcome Hennie Human, the Africa Consulting Leader at EY. Hennie, good morning to you. How are you doing, sir?
Morning, Aki. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much.
That's amazing. Listen, you've had a tremendous career. You've had over 25 years of experience delivering on projects that have spanned across almost every sector, and I'm sure you've seen some very interesting things, especially with the way that technology is evolving and how technologies influence things. When you look back at those 25 years, Hennie, what are the biggest lessons you have learned when working on so many different projects?
Yeah, Aki, that's a great question. Yeah, and as you say, there's been so many different experiences. I would say probably three major themes, Aki. The first one actually has nothing to do with technology, and that is that the why matters. So the purpose of what you're trying to achieve in a particular initiative or project, and of course linking that purpose to the individuals who are working on that project, and they must have a deep connection with that purpose. I think probably that's where I've seen the most success, is when people really can't wait to wake up to work on that purpose and to make an impact. I think the second thing, Aki, is that context is incredibly important. So you can have the most eager people who connect with purpose, but they have to understand the nuances of that sector, of that industry, of what is making the operations tick in that particular sector or segment. And then lastly, I think, Aki, is that I've seen really powerful solutions get created, implemented, that makes an impact. From our perspective as consultants, is where there's been co-creation and deep collaboration with our clients, and not doing things to our clients, but really jointly collaborating and innovating jointly and creating solutions.
Wow, that's, it's very interesting what you say, because automatically people think that, it's technology that is kind of technology is part of it, right? But the why is the most important one, as you correctly say, because we often don't start with that question. And, why are we doing this? And then if you don't get the people on board, as you mentioned, then you can't get any project off the ground. And often we just bring technology first, thinking that technology is going to solve the problem, but we don't know what the problem is. We kind of know what the problem is, but we haven't thought about it. So I love the way you put it, and you've made it more human, because that's exactly the way we should be looking at challenges today. And when you look back, Hennie, the biggest challenges that businesses face in 2025, obviously that's changed a lot, even in the last year, in the last 5 years, in the last decade, in the last 25 years since you've been looking at these things. What would you say are those challenges that businesses face today in 2025 that perhaps were not a concern many years ago, because that always evolves, doesn't it?
That's right, Aki. I think some themes that come to mind, Aki, on that is, I think cyber and digital trust is definitely a boardroom topic today that wasn't there 25 years ago, or wasn't that prevalent 25 years ago. It was stuff that we saw on movies happen, and now it's happening all around us every single day. I think for us in Africa, the talent gap is a real challenge. I mean, the fast pace of development of technology and having our talent keep up is a big challenge for us across Africa, and that's also really a boardroom topic to make sure that organizations have the right talent in technology. And then I would say, Aki, lastly, and it probably speaks to what the workforce of today, the younger workforce, is looking for in employers, and that is for profits with purpose. So our clients spend an incredible amount of effort and time to link the broader community purpose of their businesses into their business purpose of profit making.
Very interesting. And the, the cyber and the trust is a really really big one, which you pointed out, and it's scary in the age of deep fakes and hackers that are using AI to stay ahead of businesses. Security really petrifies me. But it's interesting that a key part of EY's offering evolves guiding businesses on how to use the right technologies. That's what you guys do, and you really help businesses do the right thing and make the right choices, and which technologies to use, and of course manage and grow their businesses. So when you look at these technologies, as we touched on right in the beginning, what kind of technologies, what are those technologies that you are seeing uh, the most value in currently? They're already propelling businesses going forward and are just paving the way for the next few years ahead.
Yeah, some thoughts that come to mind. Of course, there isn't probably a single business in this country, Aki, that's not got AI and unlocking value through AI on the agenda and thinking about that. So definitely a massive topic, and we speak to a lot of clients in very different ways, actually, around how to unlock value through AI. What we're also really seeing is cloud native platforms, and that's all across the value chain, really taking market share, and really offering clients flexibility, scalability, and ease of use to solve traditional business problems. That I think is really making making inroads into the business community. And then I would say there's a massive trend towards automation, and that, of course, agentic AI is playing a major role in that automation. It's not only agentic AI focused, but sort of weaving agentic AI into platforms that use low code to orchestrate workflows. Those type of technologies are really driving value for our clients right now, and is of keen interest in the market at the moment, Aki.
And that's what you guys do so well at EY. You mentioned all of those technologies, and the way I see it is you're helping me optimize my business, make my business better, using those tools that you spoke about to really optimize my business, to bring down costs, to make it run smoother. And yes, those tools are just incredibly important. And when you look at it from a South African context, many businesses are still not leveraging those digital tools that you just spoke about effectively. They might be saying we're dabbling in AI, but they're not doing it in the right way. I mean, you mentioned agentic AI, which is, if it's used properly, it can really bring tremendous automation into a business. And you see businesses making these mistakes over and over again. What are you seeing? What kind of mistakes are you seeing businesses making today with regards to these technological tools that you spoke about?
Yeah, Aki, sadly to say, I think probably two major themes come to mind. The first is that when it is treated like a technological project, and a technological project in isolation, I think those days are completely gone, where your IT department, gets hold of a technology, does a technical project on it, and the business gets value from it. I think where the success happens is when it's treated as transformational, and that it is really there to understand what value can be unlocked through for people in the business or customers. So that we talk about humans at the center of such technological upgrade, and then also, of course, how it impacts your business processes and your operations, and how that unlocks value either through increasing revenue or decreasing cost, or whatever the objective might be. I think the second problem that I see, and mistakes that people make, is that people chase trends and don't spend the time to really think through what is the value that this can bring to my business. So I guess we're in hype cycle mode at the moment, right? Around a lot of AI. And I think that when businesses don't really spend the time to think through what's the impact on my business, how can this unlock value, but just chases it for the sake of chasing it, that's when a lot of money goes down the drain without any tangible value for it, Aki.
Yeah, and we've seen this. I mean, I've seen organizations spending huge amounts of money on cloud, for example, transformation, only to find that a lot of that money was wasted, tied into long-term contracts. And the same is happening with AI, by the way. But speaking of AI, we're at a fascinating point in history when it comes to technological innovation. You've been in the business a long time. I've been following technology trends for a long time as well, but I've never quite seen anything like this. This is such a significant turning point in the history, not only of business, but just of mankind, that the technologies like AI and machine learning, automation that you mentioned earlier, are really threatening to transform how business is conducted. And I guess that it's a critical juncture for businesses. So what is your prediction for how the latest technologies will really transform the way business is done over the next 10 years? Because we don't know. It scares me because what's coming next in the next 5 to 10 years is really, really frightening if you don't understand it and really harness that power. What's your take?
Yeah, Aki, so you're putting me on the spot here. I think it takes a very brave man to predict 10 years into the future. But maybe before I get there, just lastly on your previous question, I neglected to mention that I think the mistake that I also see companies make is that the people agenda, I think technology is advanced to such a stage that where technology complexity 10 years ago maybe was a big issue in failed integrations. It very rarely these days is the core reason for failed implementations. It's the people agenda and making sure you bring people along the journey, where we've seen really people go wrong in integration. So the change management, the learning that goes along with that, and making sure that the adoption is there is critical. And that probably links into this question, Aki. So I think we are probably sort of at the height of digital transformation right now. I think the trend that we're seeing, and probably we spoke about agentic earlier on, that's being fueled at the moment, is more digital orchestration. So, in other words, systems of records are in place. They are phenomenal. Cloud native platforms are in place. They enable, businesses with a lot of flexibility. It's now about automating and orchestrating between all of these systems and technologies, and making sure that you really create value for all the stakeholders of that process. I think that the platform ecosystems will start to emerge, and I think that in this orchestration world, we will see agents speaking to agents on other platforms, and they will do orchestrations and produce phenomenal results for us. And I mean, you said that it's scary. Aki, I think it's fantastic. Actually, it is. We are getting to a place where, as I mentioned, the technological complexity is not our bottleneck anymore. The technology takes care of the technological complexity. It is now about our imagination, right? And what we can imagine, because the technology can make it happen. And I think AI, we're through the hype cycle on AI. There are absolutely fantastic use cases beginning to emerge. And we are really going to see significant increase in productivity as a result of this digital orchestration wave on the back of artificial intelligence. So it's a really exciting time, Aki. Nothing to be scared of.
No, look, I think that I think people need to embrace it. You know, people shouldn't be afraid of AI. They should see it as something that's going to augment their productivity. And those who put AI on the side and are fearful of it are those are the ones that will be left behind, both in human individuals as well as businesses. So I do think that we are going to be getting to a point where we will become superhumans in terms of intelligence and have access, which we already do, but even more so as we'll have technology and AI as working as well as equal to as a human brain, and that for me is very exciting, as you say, and that evolution is coming at us very, very fast. But I'm interested to know, because you mentioned so many things today, and businesses that are watching this are thinking, well, what's the process? How do we get onto this, and how do we make sure that we're on the right track? Could you talk to us about the process on how EY works with clients? They say, I'm a client, I come to you and I say, listen, I need you guys to help me digitally transform my operations. I want you and your team, Hennie, to look at, am I properly equipped to deal with the AI evolution that's coming, agentic AI? Have I got enough applications in the cloud? What should I be doing? What process do you and your team follow at EY when you want to help a client?
Yeah, thanks, Aki. So I think it all starts with the strategy and the objective of what you're trying to achieve, right? So I think we spend a lot of time with clients to define that purpose, first of all. We then, I guess, our brand in the marketplace is about transformation realized. So it's the lens that we put on this is a absolute business transformation lens, and whether it's at a functional level in a business, at a divisional level or an entity level, we would sit with that business, define that strategy, do future visioning, do a bit of future back planning on that, and then really think through what are the implications on all three aspects of people, process, and technology, and then plan a roadmap with that client to help them along the journey. I think what we really where we really thrive in is where we are completely part and parcel of that journey, from creating of that strategy through to the design, through to the implementation, through to the post-go live care, and making sure that the objectives are met, and making sure that the value stream that runs alongside this project is properly managed and properly governed, and various checkpoints along the way to make sure that that value is realized, Aki.
Oh, brilliant. Hennie, I've really, really enjoyed talking to you and just understanding your thought process, and how EY works. Absolutely fascinating. Hennie Human, who is the Africa Consulting Leader at EY. Hennie, thank you very much for your time and for joining us for this episode of What's Next.
Absolute pleasure, Aki. Thank you for having me.